Hi again. Yesterday, after doing the live that I did about how to say no and feel good about it, I had a number of people reach out to me on DM as well as actually like text message me privately and talk about, well, just saying no doesn't actually leave me feeling good about saying no. Like I could say no, but I often feel really guilty after the fact. And so I wanted to jump back on and talk about some of the other things that were discussed after the live from yesterday. And I think one of the key pieces to remember is that your needs and your wants and how you feel matter just as much as anybody else's. And so when you are putting your feelings in the back seat over someone else's feelings, you're essentially telling yourself that your feelings don't matter, which is also kind of giving the message to other people around you that how you feel and what you think may not matter. So I think it's really important to just remember to be able to hold that when I'm saying no to somebody who may be important to me or I'm afraid about upsetting, that part of what I'm saying no to is that I'm saying no to my feelings not mattering. It's kind of a double negative, but you get the idea. And they can be hard if you've, grown up in this world where everybody's taught to say the nice thing, do the nice thing, don't say things that hurt people's feelings. There's also, conversation about everybody being hypersensitive right now. And so it can feel like really risky to say no to somebody and be worried about how they're going to respond. But it's a really important thing to remember that saying something just because it's nice is actually lying. You're lying to the other person about what you're okay with and not okay with. And you're also kind of lying to yourself, pretending that you're okay with something when you're not. And that in and of itself will erode self-trust in a way that will have you second guessing yourself all the time. And so, yes, absolutely, if you're usually the one who says yes to things and all of a sudden you're going to stop saying yes to them, that can create some static or turbulence, if you will, in the relationships. That's quite possible. And sometimes all it requires is a further conversation about how you've been in the past, where you've actually said yes to things you didn't want to, and it's had an impact on you, and you're working at, setting new boundaries for yourself. And this is actually what it means. It doesn't mean you don't care about them or don't want to be in relationship with them. And other times it can be really important to make sure that you're being firm with them about why this is important to you. And sometimes just the act of being firm with people and being clear about why this matters to you is enough to shift things for people. If you are saying no to somebody and you are feeling badly about it because they're having a reaction about it, it's really important to look at what they're reacting to. There's definitely conversation out there about the idea that the people who react to you setting boundaries are the people who've been benefiting from your lack of boundaries, and now they're clear that with you setting and holding boundaries, they're going to be compromised or suffer. That might not quite be the right language, but they're going to be negatively impacted by your new boundaried way of being. And you got to look at whether or not those relationships are working for you or serving you. There's a level of emotional maturity that's required to be able to have some of these conversations. And sometimes people just don't have that. And you get to learn how to deal with those relationships a little bit differently. And it may be important to, maybe change the priority of those relationships in your world, change the level of commitment you have to those relationships, change how much access they have to you. So yeah, to recap, I think in order to feel good about saying no instead of feeling guilty and like you're letting people down, it's really important to remember that when you're saying yes to something you don't want to, you are letting yourself down. And that also deserves some looking at. Your feelings matter just as much as other people's, if not more, really. So take the time and think about that. Let me know if you have any other questions about this topic. It's a big one. There's lots of lots of nuance to all of it. And be happy to answer any further questions that you have. Also, yesterday people were asking if they're allowed to share this. Feel free to share this as widely as you want and tag friends who you think might be interested in it. I think it's a really important conversation, and the more that people feel free or feel like they have the permission to say what they need and ask for what they want and set boundaries and limits with people, the more powerful all of the relationships that are out there will be. So I fully support sharing this conversation. So I hope you're having a great Wednesday afternoon, and we'll talk to you guys later.